Hey guys, Shadowz here. Welcome back to another Gears 5 video. Today we are going to be discussing the new Booshka and Lancer Mark II being spotted, with TC addressing the unreleased DLC weapons era in Gears 5. During the original trilogy of Gears of War games, there was a lot of community requests that Epic Games never really engaged with, or even maybe just had an opportunity to explore. And while TC have actually delivered a few of these, at the top of the list has always been new DLC weapons. At the beginning of Operation Free Gridiron, when the new seasonal content went live, Xbox UK released an all-new Gridiron gameplay trailer, including the reveal of Thrashball Colt, as well as also the main possibility for the Coalition Studio to be teasing what definitely looks like at the time new DLC weapons coming very soon to the game. As you can see on screen, during the Gridiron launch trailer, the COD character Clayton Carmine is sliding into cover on canals with an out-of-nowhere UIR Booshka grenade launcher, only ever seen as a weapon introduced in Epic's last Gears of War Judgment. As Clay begins to fire, it's something that I noticed within my original breakdown video, that it was using the drills as ammunition from the drop shot, which you would only have noticed if you watch back the trailer frame by frame. Now for me personally, I was super excited and ready just because alongside a variety of customizable executions, I have always wanted to see DLC weapons post-release in a Gears game, so that versus and multiplayer specifically could actually get new flavors all the time, as newly introduced weapons to the game would change up the skill of the gameplay. Next up, moving on to the latest Carmines launch trailer, which only released about a week ago now. The same thing happened once again, where a new DLC weapon appeared in the gameplay footage, leading everybody to believe that this was a new type of content that maybe a TC were preparing for a release in the soon future. As you can see on screen, this time around we start the trailer off straight away with the three Carmine amigos finishing up a Locust drone in the spawn point, as Gary Carmine picks up the drone's dropped Lancer assault rifle, revealing it to be in full surprise the classic Lancer Mark II, as seen throughout the original Gears trilogy and Gears Tactics, but not something currently in Gears 5. Now we have both the UIR Booshka grenade launcher and the Lancer Mark II, with everybody, myself heavily included, under the impression that new DLC weapons were coming to Gears 5. Recently, TC came out and officially addressed the unreleased weapons showing up in the trailers, which I wanted to share with you guys so everybody is aware of the information and there's no confusion just left in the air. Speaking on the topic of the unreleased content showing up in the last two Gears 5 trailers, the community team of Octus and Dana explained on the official weekly developer livestream the exact reasons and specifics behind why this happened. Firstly, of course, given just the current situation of the world right now, a lot of game developers are actually working from home or just remote locations, meaning that the reviewing process of the new trailers used for Operation Free so far wasn't as tightly contained as the normal procedure that would actually usually be. For the Booshka grenade launcher, it was actually a weapon that was planned to be in the Gears 5 campaign exclusively, similar to the Hammer of Dawn as a weapon of the past, heavily incorporated into Vazgar with the return of Garen Paddock, but was actually decided to be cut quite early on into the game's development. When it comes to the Lancer Mark II, there was actually no plans of it being associated with Gears 5, merely just included in the Carmines trailer by the same era made as the Booshka. With developer builds of games, they do contain files and unreleased unused assets and content which can be spawned in via a menu of commands at any given time. With the Booshka weapon, you may notice it was actually just a model skin for the dropshot weapon, which the team are recording the Op3 Gridiron trailer maybe just spawned in and fired it without any sort of acknowledgement of it being an unused Booshka model asset. For the Lancer Mark II being the iconic classic Gears Lancer assault rifle, it actually was mentioned that it is a default weapon equipped to any enemy that is spawned into the game, giving Gary Carmine the spotlight to show off the wrong Lancer at the right time. He did acquire from instantly the spawned in and then deceased Locust drone. Director of Community and Senior Community Manager Dana and Octus of the Coalition Studio go into full detail by explaining it in the following clips right here.
Now, in case of the Booshka, it is actually surprisingly similar answer. We have a dev menu, and there's of weapons that were in the game, and I will say that initially there was potential that the Booshka was going to be added to Gears 5.
Yeah.
And it was in the game. It had no balance work had been done on it. It was just something that had been put in from the at the beginning, just as something that we're like, hey, we're gonna see about getting this in a future operation. Now,
well, actually, originally we were even thinking of throwing it in, because you go to Vazgar. I remember it was actually like something they were considering for Vazgar in the campaign as well.
Yes, yeah, and then that got scoped out very early because they didn't want to have something in one part of the game, recognizing that if it was in the campaign, then people would be asking for it in versus and multiplayer and horde and such. So it got scoped out there, but then because it was in the game, there was thinking of, well, geez, is this something that we want to think about potentially getting bringing back at some point? Yeah, I mean, well, it's actually the same thing. The people that made the trailer have access because they need to move the camera around. They also have access to a dev build, and they just pulled out the Booshka and used it, and it just got missed as we were going and looking at the footage for the Operation 3 trailer. So as much as yeah, I see the one person with the emoji where it's like that. Yeah, it's unfortunately that is something that you know, I wish I had a better explanation or anything like that. But you know, it's part of our, hey, we're being super transparent with you guys. This was just a miss, and we're owning up to it. And right now, it's very, very unlikely that it will be in Gears 5. I'm loath to ever say never because who knows what can happen. But there's a lot of work because we have to rebalance everything. If that's the case, to put it into there, we have to think about weapon placements for versus.
Well, it doesn't. It's basically a boom shot mock-up. The current Booshka. It's not actually a functional Booshka. It was just like something that was modeled, and they were going to decide what they wanted the weapon to do. It's usually how you develop the weapon, right? You functionally decide what you want it to do before you go create VFX, projectiles, all that sort of stuff. And they never even got it to the point where functionally they decided how they wanted to operate. Would it be the same as the last one? Would it be kind of a kind of weaker boom shot, like a Markster to a long shot sort of thing? That was never really decided. So
we'd have to go do that.
Yeah.
There's cosmetic issues that we'd have to manage of how does it fit into previous skin sets, all sorts of things like that. So it is what it is. I wish I could give you guys something more, but that's just us.
So basically, because of the way we're having to create content right now, we have an amazing kind of video team and creative services team. And they're a little bit less intrinsically tied in. I would say like the review process is a little bit more disconnected than it usually would be in terms of how often we're reviewing the edits and how much. Basically, the Mark II Lancer is kind of a slip-in. It's not something that's coming. It's not meant to be a tease. What happened with that is basically we have a dev menu that lets you spawn in weaponry. And by default, because obviously we're building on Gears 4, that Lancer is the first thing. When you hit like spawn a Lancer, it spawns that. And so it's functionally exactly the same. It's just the model that loads in is different. So no, the Mark II is not coming as a skin. You know, we're going to pass the idea along, but it wasn't an intentional tease, nor was it anything that we were trying to like signal was coming. It's just one of those things that it's like a remnant of the past that's snuck in.
Please make sure to leave me a comment down below telling me what you think, or what is your guys' opinion on the unreleased weapons in the Booshka and Lancer Mark II, simply just being an error and not actually coming to Gears 5. For me personally, I am pretty disappointed just because I was looking forward to a new style of content possibly emerging in the post-release life of Gears 5, as new DLC weapons could change up the same gameplay in a ton of ways, while also including just the amazing opportunity to return some old legacy fan favourite weapons. Just based on Dana's points alone, to me it does sound like Gears 5 won't be getting any new DLC weapons anytime soon, or even anytime in the future, so the dreams of having maybe a return of a Booshka, Scorcher, Breach Shot, even a Boom Shield will have to, for now, ultimately just fade away. Going forward, I really do hope TC doesn't repeat an error like this ever again, as overall it can just ruin the Gears fans' excitement and even devalue the game product itself. By official trailers released by both TC and Xbox themselves, showing the new content being falsely advertised by mistake or not, being in Gears 5 but never actually coming or releasing to the game. So there you have it guys, the full details on the Booshka and Lancer Mark II being spotted, with TC addressing the unreleased DLC weapons error, as they are definitely not coming to Gears 5. Give the video a thumbs up and share if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I shall see you in the next one.